Welcome to Bobby Does Recaps. This is the Dutton Ranch Season 1. And by the end, a couple who just wanted a quiet cattle ranch in Texas are standing in the middle of a war. Bodies everywhere, and their son... Well, hold up. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start from the beginning. Our story begins just like any good tragedy, with everything on fire. The Duttons' Montana ranch burns to the ground, and Beth and Rip do the only thing people like them know how to do. They don't whine, they don't complain, they get right back on that horse. 6 months later, they land in Rio Paloma, Texas, a town that's so hot the air feels like Texas. And along for the ride, their teenage adopted son, Carter. They dump every dollar they have into a struggling 100-year-old ranch they buy off an aging rancher named Jeannie Edwards. And I love how the deal closes. Jeannie flat out refuses to sell to faceless corporations circling her land, and only hands it over because Rip and Beth are, quote, real cowboys. This is definitely a Taylor Sheridan show. They rename it Dutton Ranch, and for about 5 minutes, things are looking up. Then they meet the neighbors. Enter Beulah Jackson, on paper, a sweet grandmother who owns the 10-petal ranch next door. In practice, she owns the whole county, the processors, the sheriff, all of it. And the second Beth tries to move their cattle, Beulah slams every local door shut. If you want your beef processed in this town, you'll have to cut Beulah in on the profits. Beth doesn't bite. But neighbor drama dials up to 10 fast because Beulah's son has the impulse control of a dumb Texas Nepo baby. Meet Rob Will Jackson. In a hot-headed tantrum, he kills the 10-petal ranch foreman, Wes, and buries the body like an amateur. I don't know if this guy just hasn't seen movies, but you gotta bury the bodies deep. Why is this a problem, you ask? Well, he buries him on Dutton land. Wild hogs dig him up, and Rip finds the body. And this is where we see Rip's Yellowstone approach to problem solving. An abandoned mine shaft down the road? Deep, dark, no questions. If you watched Yellowstone, you know exactly what this is. It's the train station with a Texas zip code. Wes disappears down the hole, and nobody's the wiser. Meanwhile, Carter's busy being young and dumb, skipping school and falling hard for a local girl named Oreana. Little does he know, he's behind enemy lines. Oreana is Beulah's granddaughter, also dumb Texas Nepo baby's daughter. One bright side, though, Nepo baby was sent to rehab and is currently out of the picture. But we all know that's not going to last long. Next, our story goes from suck to blow. The Duttons' cattle get infected with foot and mouth disease. Here's the thing. If you're like me and don't know cattle, this doesn't sound scary. Just give them some medicine, right? Wrong. FMD is so contagious that one confirmed case can force you to destroy your entire herd. It's not an illness. It's a financial death sentence. And that's exactly what happens. Beth and Rip have to put down all the cattle they own. Honestly, it's one of the hardest scenes I've had to watch in a long time. But Beth doesn't take anything lying down. She digs and finds the smoking gun, a forged health document on the bull they bought at auction. Somebody knowingly sold them a sick animal. Rip processes the news with his usual restraint by driving out and setting the responsible cattle broker's trailer on fire. Anger management the Dutton style? Now, Rip and Beth get clever. They don't intimidate, they infiltrate. Rip takes a job as foreman on the 10-petal ranch, and Beth digs up enough leverage to entice Beulah into a business alliance she can't refuse. So these two spend the second half of the season riding around together, trading insults hot enough to brand cattle. Two women who'd happily bury each other, carpooling. It's hands down the best relationship in the show. Meanwhile, Carter starts working for a local named Dwight. But I call him Random Leopard Guy because the man owns an actual spotted leopard and the show simply never explains it. It's there, it's a leopard, major Tiger King vibes. Anyway, it stops being fun fast because Carter watches the county's shady sheriff, Handy Wade, execute Random Leopard Guy in cold blood. This was a good comedic side story that really went dark fast. But the chaos is just beginning. The bodies keep stacking up. Long story short, dumb Texas Nepo baby is back from rehab. He's afraid Beulah's going to put his adopted brother Joaquin in charge of the 10-pedal. He talks Chet, a guy Rip fired from the 10-pedal, into taking a shot at his adopted brother. But Chet only manages to shoot Joaquin in the hand before Beulah's scary enforcer guy, Miguel, takes him out. Rip takes Joaquin to get stitched up, and on the ride there, Joaquin confesses who left the body on his property. Then, the show slows down to shift from interim villains to the big bad guys. Stick with me. We get Beulah's backstory, and it's brutal. Assaulted as a young woman, driven to her first killing, and the man she killed was Luke. Yup, Nepo Baby's biological father. Suddenly, she's not a cartoon villain. She's a woman who built an entire empire out of the worst day of her life. One bad decision leading to a lifetime of wrong turns. What about the big bad guys, you say? I'm getting there. A ranch hand named Austin helps Beth and Rip connect the dots. The 10-pedal isn't really a ranch. At least it hasn't been for a long time. It's a front. The whole operation is a cartel pipeline using livestock to smuggle fentanyl across the border. And that sick bull that got all the cattle sick earlier? It rode in through the same pipeline. Everything they've gone through at this point is all cartel collateral damage. To make things even worse, Carter's continued to spiral, making one bad decision after another. There's way too many for me to cover here, but the final one ends with...
You'll never be my father.
And then running away from home at the worst possible time. Which brings us to the finale, and hold on to your saddles while I try to piece this mess together. Beth and Rip are trying to find proof that the 10-pedal cattle are drug mules. Nepo Baby shows up trying to stop them, makes the mistake of calling Beth a bitch, and Rip beats the crap out of him. But it's Beth who lands the real blow, digging the proof out of the tally book Nepo Baby drops during the scuffle. They pull a few $1 million worth of drugs out of the cattle, and Rip knows the Jacksons are the least of their problems now. Someone far worse will be coming for those drugs. Then, two things land back to back. Oreana discovers she's pregnant. It's Carter's baby, but she doesn't tell him. She asks him to leave town with her instead. While she's home packing, Nepo Baby catches her, and instead of being his usual self, he's warm and kind. Apologizes for being a bad father, and you think, just maybe, he might turn the other cheek. Then the doorbell rings. He goes to answer it, and Oreana hears a gunshot. She runs to the door and screams at the sight of her father, Rob Will, lying dead on the floor. Turns out the cartel is already in town, and the leader, Mariano Reyes, told Joaquin to kill his brother. Also, side note, Mariano is Joaquin's real father. Yep, I told you the finale was a mess, and we ain't done. Half a dozen cartel goons try to assault the Dutton Ranch, but Rip and Beth are ready. With the help of their ranch hands and the local livestock vet, they take out the cartel hit squad like they're SEAL Team 6. Afterwards, Rip and the crew drop the bodies off at the train station. The hole that started with one buried foreman ends the season swallowing a small army. But the cartel doesn't leave empty-handed. The boss, Mariano, calls Beth with one move that guarantees this isn't over. He's taken Carter. Rip says,
They want us.
And Beth, with fury in her eyes, says,
Then they're gonna fucking get us.
I think we might just be headed to Mexico in season 2. And that's where Dutton Ranch season 1 comes to an end. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to recapping another show for you very soon.